Okay. So, semester 2 of design school
Yo.
is way less abstract. It's still not super concrete because our projects don't have budget limits. They don't have any limitations like that. It's basically you do it, and if it looks cool, do it. Go for it. And then with that, we started our semester. Exercise 5 is the first project we did second semester, and it was a product design project, and I was thrilled. I love product design and I love industrial design. That's my focus is at K-State is to be an industrial designer. That's what I got accepted for second year, so yay. And yeah, I chose a mini fridge, so here you can see I did like a magazine layout from like 50 style fashion. I was like super into it. I was like super excited. We used Mylar for the first time, and Mylar is a blessing. It is so good. If you have the option to use Mylar in design school, use it. You can erase basically anything you draw on it, and the only minor annoyance is that if you get oil on it, then like inks won't stick, and some other things will smudge a lot if you have a lot of oil on there, which is a fine trade-off for being able to erase everything. Because if you do something on vellum and you get, heaven forbid, you get one ink line wrong, it looks like garbage. Then you have to just trash it and start again so you can have a crisp, clean final project. So I love Mylar. Enough of that raving. I thought it came out good. I put some Easter eggs for some of my future projects on the channel inside of that project. When those videos come out, tell me if you saw it. If not, slow. Anyways, so moving from there, we went to exercise 6, and exercise 6 was about color. So we had to choose precedents. Well, some classes got to choose precedents. Our professor assigned our precedents for us. The precedent I got assigned was the Tlalpan Chapel in Mexico City by Luis Barragan, and it was a very difficult building to find information on and to find plans and whatnot for. It was just oof. It was a very pretty chapel. It had a lot of cool, colorful elements, which was excellent for the project because exercise 6 is all about color. We had to build a small diorama that would embody the space without any of the, I guess, spatial forms. So you weren't making hallways or chairs or like crucifixes. Well, I guess I made a crucifix, but you weren't making like altars and everything. You were taking the elements from the space, condensing them into their basic essential form, and then putting them into a diorama. So mine includes the textured sidewall, which is actually a zoomed in, blown up version of the texture of the back of the altar, which is a ruffled gold. I have the glass from the glass behind the, well, adjacent and behind the cross. I have the cross in there as well with its nice wood grain texture. The reflective pool, I put some flowers in there as well. I had the overhang from, the embedded back seat from where the seats are on the second floor. And then I had another back wall space that you can see light coming through. And then I got to take some really aesthetic photos. So I have some pictures where I had backlighting from underneath the foam core. I did long exposures. I really opened up the aperture and took a bunch of different pictures in different colors, different lighting. I even used I used my friend's phone. Maria, shout out to you. Thank you so much for the help on that project. Probably couldn't have gotten away with some of those cool photos without you being there to help me with lighting and everything. And yeah, it was a great project to do. Then again, I guess the execution, like all my other projects, didn't come out the best. But exercise 7 was the analysis of place project, where we went to the Ellen Lamb House, designed by Frank Lloyd Wright in Wichita, Kansas. And we also visited the exploration place in Wichita as well. But the exploration place was not part of analysis of space. So analysis of space, it was neither here nor there. It wasn't my favorite project, but I think it was important for me to learn how to analyze a structure, analyze a building, analyze someone's design. Being able to both appreciate the design elements they implemented and appreciate all the work that went into it and the things that look good in it, but also absolutely murder it where it fails. I did not love the house. I liked the house, but again, I don't really have a strong opinion on it. There are just some things I didn't like. There was one place I really don't like, and it's the Student Center at Wichita State. I blocked it out of my brain. I just didn't like it that much. It was also designed by Frank Lloyd Wright, and here, it's on screen. Disgusting. Anyways, exercise 8 was a fun project. We had to design a topography for an intersection at the K-State campus in Manhattan, and we got to basically edit the landscape in any way we wanted, pull it up, pull it down. We had to make certain landscape indentations in it. We also had other requirements that we had to fulfill. My design was basically, I wanted to make a highway system, then because when you're late to class, you just want to go straight to class. You don't want to have to pass through like a slow park. And then underneath, I put all the relaxing areas where you can go down there and study or reflect, things like that. My favorite part about the project was basically the trees. I had some cool ideas about making weeping willows and then cutting arches through the vines to make walkways that were kind of like sheltered by the trees, as well as I had two huge arching, basically oaks, over the entrance to the underground park, where they like intertwined and made a nice arch. It was like super aesthetic. And then in the back area, I had vines covering the highway, so that when you were behind and underneath the highway, it was like cut off from the rest of the road and everything on the outside of the landscape. Down here at the bottom, you can see in the plan. And it was just a nice area to chill. I have some perspective diagrams that look, I guess, close to my vision of what I wanted to show. This project we started before spring break, which was before the no-no juice bug happened. And then after spring break, when the no-no juice bug became a big problem, we went online immediately. K-State was one of the first college campuses to be like, nope, we're online. No one's going to school. And so we did that entire project, the entire bulk of the project online. That was basically our getting used to it. And we did the whole of that project in, I think it was a week, maybe 2, if I'm not mistaken. And it was fast. It was real fast. It's a whirlwind. Exercise 9, which still got cut off by a week because of the whole online business. And because of that, we had to drop some elements. Originally, that project included product design, where you could make furniture and tables and everything. But time constraints and not being in studio in person meant that we had to cut it out, which was big sad. I still made some of my stuff on my own because I wanted to, and I had some extra time to do it. So exercise 9, we had to create an artist refuge for us during quarantine that we could go to escape the world and escape all the problems that no-no juice is causing. Pretty great. Yeah. Whew, there's a lot to say. We were in La Jolla, California, and you know what? I'm gonna let presentation me tell you about it. So yeah, that presentation was wacky. The project I really enjoyed. I thought it was pretty great. It was an excellent time, I guess, doing it, being able to design something that I wanted to. And also, okay, so I have to tell you the story behind this house because, the refuge. I originally thought that the refuge was going to be completely designed from the ground up, all the landscape, all of the environment by me. So I was like, I'm gonna make a winter mountain or something of the sort and put my artist refuge up there. It's gonna be this like cube of just like nothingness with only 2 windows on the side that protrude with walls. So on the inside it would be like this cool like library with like lanterns and everything. And that ended up not happening. The house was planned for Edna Mode. I was like, Edna Mode, my queen, my thick sister, she was gonna be the one that I was gonna make the house for, make the refuge for. So I was like, Edna Mode, queen. But couldn't have Edna Mode. Big sad, I had to do myself. And so I went through a bunch of design revisions. I was like revision after revision after revision. It just wasn't working, wasn't getting it down. The designs weren't clicking. They weren't cohesive. One of them had trains, which I still wanted to put a train. I still wanted to put a train. One of them had like an expanding parasol that was the room, so I could see the stars at night. There were some that were buried, some that were above ground. There were different designs, different design languages, all mixed together in one hodgepodge. Until finally, I was like, you know what? That Edna Mode house, I would live in it. Edna Mode house, aesthetic. So Edna Mode House was born. Obviously, it's not called Edna Mode House. It's called The Hug. It's basically the Hug House. A nice soft embrace. Yeah, I love the Hug House. So like the concrete is transparent and everything gives that nice aesthetic inside. It like slides around to complete all the project requirements. Instead of making like fixed pieces out in space, it actually like physically extends out in space, which is something I didn't heavily touch on. But exercise 4, something that I shot myself in the foot, was basically I made my whole project move. I made that little spaceship thing move out into space, and that was just oof. And I became like the movement guy, like needlessly adding movement into every project. Here I am, final project second semester. I did it again, boys. We got movement in there. It goes like slide. But yeah, exercise 9, good project. Loved it. So now I'm going to touch on some current events that affected my semester before and through the whole end of the rest of the online and experience. Do not recommend online design school. Don't do online design school. It's just, you don't get as much out of it. You're not there with the other students to like struggle and learn together. Yeah, here's basically, my experience was basically an absolute mess. I couldn't for the life of me maintain like a consistent schedule of getting all my online assignments done. It was just not coming together. Couple that with the fact that I had never worked in my room. Back at school, I had gotten used to working in design studio, getting my design work done there, and then getting my homework done either in classes or somewhere else that wasn't my room. Or if it was in my room, I had a lofted bed, so I didn't have to worry about the temptation of just like laying down and sleeping. But now in my room, I was like, okay, this is my place to relax. This is my place to just lay in bed and watch YouTube videos, just watch documentaries like Netflix, whatever I wanted to, do whatever I wanted. But it was like work time. I had to work, and it just wasn't working for me. It just, I couldn't do that. And couple that with the fact that right after spring break, we had come back from an international trip to Germany for my sister's study abroad, which got canceled. And she came back with us, obviously, and I had to start quarantine, which is fine. You know, I was like, it's gonna be 2 weeks. I can go 2 weeks without seeing people. I'll be back in school anyways, or I can see my friends. And no, I go out 7 weeks of quarantine, 7 weeks without seeing anyone at all in person. And 4 of those weeks, I didn't even see them online or talk to them online aside from like texting, which that hurts, you know. It's just kind of like, oof, I'm alone. I don't have anyone to talk to besides my family, and you know, everyone else has other stuff to do. My dad had work, my sister had her assignments to do, my mom was doing her stuff, and I had a lot of studio stuff to do. So that made a bad situation worse. It basically became Panic at the Disco in hell. A disco in hell, and you're panicking. It's like, So now I want to talk to you guys about design school. To all of you interested, design school is an extremely amazing experience. I've loved it so far. It's been amazing. They really work you like an oxen in a pre-industrial agricultural society, but it's all worth it. It's all worth it. It's an excellent experience. Getting to struggle, overcome, and learn with your peers makes the curve of your experience at design school go from linear to exponential. It just goes like, woo, zoom, fast, 400 on the dash. And it's just, I can't rave enough. I can only speak with 100% confidence about K-State, so I will. The professors are excellent. I loved the experience. Like I said, being there with the students is amazing. You get to be in a studio environment with them, like next to you at desks, and then you also have your professors, which are there with you, and you have a long time to get your studio work done. It's not like a short 45 minutes class. It's like 3 hours or 4 hours to get the studio work done, and it's great that you get to like work there and do everything you want. It's almost like a job, and in that way it's even better because it really gives you discipline. And then design school also just like forces you to the idea of like, you need to get on your stuff. You need to like do it well, and you have to set yourself a schedule or find a way that you can get your work done quickly or speed up your design process, because or else you just won't sleep for the last week of the project. You'll be awake 24/7, just coffee, caffeine, and just to get your product done. But it's just, yeah, it's an amazing experience. Once you get on top of it, it's pretty great. Obviously, design school is extremely difficult from the get-go, so if you're not prepared to buckle down and work hard, then you won't make it past first semester. but if you're willing to put in the time and the effort, you might struggle first semester, but second semester, it gets a lot better because you've already gotten used to first semester. You know how second semester, it's going to be harder, obviously, but you've gotten through so far that you have at least some idea of what it's like to work through it, and you can definitely make it through. So yeah, thank you guys all for watching my year in review for 2019-2020. I really enjoyed the year at design school. I think it was the best experience I've had in an educational environment. I highly recommend it. Do design school. Come to K-State. K-State's pretty great. It's an amazing school. And if I see you there, hi. See ya. Ooh.